And welcome to the Hallpreezy Universe. I'm King HP, otherwise known as Father, and
I am Kier.
and today we got to break down, look at this Wandavision episode, and my God. You want to give it to him?
I think we should give it to him.
All right, this is your chance. 3, 2, 1, in reverse. Spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it,
Get up out of here.
go, dip.
$6.99. Go get yourself some Disney Plus.
There you go. So you've heard it all now. Let's jump in. All right. So the episode starts off with the Marvel logo. It's typical, and then
Turns purple to recognize. It turns purple for Agatha Harkness.
Can we call it Agatha Purple?
We can call it Agatha Purple.
So you was gonna call her Agnes.
I was about to.
You was about to call her Agnes. See you.
I'm so used to calling her Agnes at this point. It's gonna take me a while to.
Put that in the comments. Which name do you like better? Even though we know her real name, comic book name, Agatha Harkness. Do you just like Agnes? Auntie Agnes? With the Agnes purple? Anyway, moving past. We get to the origin. It's like a quick origin run through of Agatha Harkness's past, right? Coincidentally, it's called Previously On, but it's giving you a whole history lesson. Mostly on Wanda, but we get the
Agatha or Agnes, whatever you want to call her.
I did the quotes for Agnes. I thought you was gonna hit me with the Agnes.
No, well.
But we see she's doing it's very Salem witch trial like, right? Even takes place in the time period 1693. Salem witch trial starting like 1692. They go to like 1693, 1694, and this is right here 1693.
Yeah.
Right. So, did you think they were about to do some burning at the stake or some stuff like that? Like, what was your thoughts?
Well, no. Well, because back in like 1693, people were burning witches. But
Right,
now
right.
the role are reversed. Not really reversed because, there's no regular people there. It's just witches.
Her coven. Right? It's her coven. So, for those who don't know, we're going to put that. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to use my magic. I don't know if it's going to work. But
Give me a sec.
there you go.
Oh,
okay.
There we go. Okay.
So, a coven, as you see the definition on the screen, right? A coven is basically a group of witches, right? That's their group. That's their clique. Like, you have the Avengers. That's a group of superpowered beings. Or essentially like a family or a group. Did you just get rid of it?
Yeah, I had to get rid of it.
Okay, that's dope. I like that. So, with the coven, that's her coven. And right now they're establishing the rules of magic. That's what this episode kind of does. And we're going to get into that in a moment as we get further into it. But what you see is they start saying, "Hey, you stole knowledge above your age and station."
Yeah.
So, do you think that what do you think she took?
I think she took that book that we saw in episode 7.
Ooh.
Because if you also look at it, there was also like orange stuff surrounding the book, and as the witches were, blasting her with their magic, there was like a little bit of orange stuff flying around Agatha, and it kind of looks like the orange stuff that was surrounding the book. So I think that was the book that Agatha took and tried learning from.
They definitely did say that you were practicing dark magic. So definitely something to watch. Watch how Marvel leads us down. Remember, I've been telling y'all, Marvel, they walk you down these roads. So I bet we do get to find out what that stolen knowledge was, and it probably does have something to do with that book. Because that book was sitting up there nice and perked up for Wanda, right? So they get this, and then we get a couple little tidbits. One, her mother is there. Agatha's mother is there, and she's the one saying these things. You have been charged with stealing knowledge above your age and station. Now, this is what sets up some rules to magic, right? And we're gonna have to get into this later with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna be big. It's gonna be too big for this episode. With your age and station, and you going outside of that, so the witches they start to focus their power on Agatha. but I don't know what their hope was.
Not everything went as it was planned. So at that moment, Agatha started using power that maybe she learned. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure she did learn it from the book. And so she starts manipulating their energy, and she starts making it her own energy, and you can see that turning purple. Representing that Agatha was doing, all that manipulation, and then she starts sucking the life out of the other witches in the coven.
They were dry.
Yeah, they look like zombies.
She literally sucked them dry. Now, the last person was her mom.
Yeah. So her mom as you said, was the last person, and so she started going full force on her, but it didn't have any effect on Agatha, and she also sucked her dry. And I think when she sucked the life out of them, that also helped her life because, as you said earlier, it took place in 1693.
1693.
So she's really old at this point. So I think when she sucked the life out of them, that also helped her lifespan. So I think that's what happened. I think that's why she's still here.
So Agatha essentially is almost like a magical vampire, right? Sucking life force. Because one of the things she said, keep this in mind too. Agatha said, "I can be good," and they were like, "No, you can't. Sorry." Right? Yeah, she was absolutely. So they knew that wasn't true, and then they told her she broke the rules. Right when they said that she stole the knowledge, and then her reply was, "I didn't break the rules. They bent to my power." So Agatha's no joke, right? Because she took on about 4 or 5 witches, including her mother. And she was telling them, teach me. She was yelling it to them. She's more powerful than the people she's asking to teach her, right? And I think she kind of understands that and understood it at that moment when she sucked their life force out. So she steals the brooch from her mom. So that's that sign we see
throughout the entire show. Every time you see her, she always has that little necklace thing on her.
Yeah, so that's that.
So we then cut to our current time, where episode 7 left off, where Wanda gets trapped in the basement with Agatha, and Wanda learns that she can't use her magic there because of the books and the runes and how those books work. Only the person that casts the books in there, they can use their magic. That's why Agatha.
It was like witchcraft 101.
Yeah,
and that's funny because Agatha was like, "Wanda, you don't know this?" She literally was amazed because Wanda has a mass amount of power.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know the basics. But at first she didn't even know that Wanda didn't know. She just was like, "You don't know that?" Like that was strange to her. But as we'll see, as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that she doesn't know what she's doing. To Agnes.
When Wanda figures out what she's doing, she's about to be a beast.
She's a beast now.
Yeah, she
but
is. But
this whole conversation, all right, definitely go back, watch episode 8. This conversation is integral, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of things happen here. One, she's talking to Senior Scratchy, right? She brings him to her ear, and they have small conversation. Yep, she does look surprised, doesn't she? Right? It wasn't like she was petting him and just picked that up. She brought him here so he could say something to her. Now, we as the audience don't hear it, but it's clear that he had said something to her. 2, the rules of magic. Boom. Only the person who casts the runes. Right? That we see that book there, and we also see that Wanda, that Agnes is impressed by Wanda's magic. She starts running it down. She's like, "You got thousands of people at your disposal, at your fingertips."
Yeah, magic on autopilot.
Magic on autopilot. She said it takes lessons. It takes years to do mind control, and she takes that cicada.
Yeah.
And and then Flint has it. She has that cicada. She has that cicada go on Wanda's face, and that thing just moving around her face, right? Transmutation. This explains a lot of stuff for Monica, because coming in and out of the hex, her DNA has been rewritten.
Yeah, she's starting to transform into photon.
Or Spectrum.
Yeah.
They haven't called her name yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what name they're going to go with. I'm always vote Spectrum because the first thing they showed you is her seeing a spectrum, a different, the world, the hex, in a different spectrum. But yet her mom used to be named Photon, right? And then you saw that in the episode. That transmutation thing. To further go, Senior Scratchy is a real character, right? So just like the cat in Captain Marvel, Senior Scratchy, she transmutates that cicada into a bird. She's got it. Agatha's got it. She's mad. She's like, Wanda's got all these people doing all this stuff. It takes years to learn all these lessons. And you were just out here willy-nilly. How did you do it, Wanda? How? Right? Because she can't fathom it. And she takes that bird and she slings it to Senior Scratchy. The bird transmutates back to a cicada and Senior Scratchy just eats it. Like, boom, without missing a beat.
Yeah. Agatha then tries to ask how Wanda made the hex, and Wanda responds that she doesn't know. She doesn't know how she did it. So Agatha got mad and she starts throwing her around the place.
Is it safe to say Agatha thinks she's lying?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would remember how I made the hex. At least I would think I remember. I don't think it really sucked her memory out because she clearly remembers a lot of stuff before she made the hex. And I feel like Agatha knows that. So after she throws Wanda around, she kind of has to do it herself. And so she picks Wanda's hair just like how Doctor Strange did to Thor and Thor Ragnarok. And she does magic with it and sends it to this door. So it can kind of open up Wanda's past. All right, so Agatha wants Wanda to follow her, and Wanda says no. And so then right after that, you can hear Wanda's kids, yelling for help. And I think this further on includes what might happen in the finale, and it kind of happens in the comics where someone tells Wanda that her kids are not real. Because I don't know if you noticed, but like every single time in the show, something happens. And right after that, the kids start saying something. Like I think it's just kind of a coincidence. Like they're just cueing the kids to say something so they can get Wanda to hurry up and do what Agatha wants her to do.
I think you're onto a point, but I don't think that the kids are not real. Here's my point. We saw what happened to Vision. Right? She created Vision from nothing.
Yeah.
The children were birthed. The children were literally flesh of flesh, blood of blood. They were birthed out. That's why I think they'll be real and they'll stay, because there is a comic precedent for it, but we know Marvel to go off the cusp, right? So they'll take a reference and then they'll twist it and manipulate it till it tells their story the best way it can. I'll go against you on this one, and I'm gonna say I don't want the Hex to destroy Wiccan or Tommy and Billy, right? Or Speed and Wiccan.
Well, in the comics,
I got the comics, but Ultron was created by Tony Stark. That don't happen in the comics at all. Not even close. Stormbreaker belongs to Beta Ray Bill. So the comic references are there, but Marvel will take. I'm not about to kill these kids on TV. We'll kill Vision. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see them ripping them kids apart.
Well, you have to realize that when Wanda made Vision and Vision left the Hex, he was about to die.
Correct.
And Wanda made those kids, so if the Hex gets destroyed,
Wanda birthed the children. She didn't make them. Like, she literally, there was nothing there, and Vision came out from parts of the magic. The children were physically birthed from her. And they made a point to tell you that in Monica and Wanda's conversation when Wanda came out the Hex. And she was like, you had me deliver those children. They made a point to double tap on that, right? Vision, we didn't even know how Vision was created until now, because we always thought they used the stolen body, which, OMG, we gonna get to that. But it wasn't the case, right? So we'll agree to disagree, and we'll keep it rolling, because we'll see what happens and how Marvel's gonna play it. Now,
yeah, go ahead. The kid's gonna die.
maybe so, but all right. So we go to Sokovia, and I'm pissed, right?
His theory was not correct.
They were not Wanda's parents. We meet Wanda's parents, Oleg and Irina Maximoff. But we also get a new grip on what's going on with Wanda and how her powers really work. One, she was a sitcom child.
Yeah,
Love sitcoms. Love sitcoms. Her dad was slinging bootlegs. He had all the bootlegs. He literally had bootlegs. We also see that Sokovia was war torn.
Yeah, we even saw a little bit of it in episode 6. It was something small, but it was when Pietro was talking to Wanda.
Oh, you call my man Pietro already?
And they were talking about Halloween, and Wanda was like, "I don't remember that." And then it was a quick little flashback. But if you kind of look in the background when they were like trick or treating, because I think Wanda had on a Black Widow outfit, Pietro had on a Nick Fury outfit, and if you look in the background, during it was Halloween, it didn't look so good. The lady gave them a fish.
Yeah, so we got a glimpse of that, right? And they are showing you this to show you that Wanda grew up in a bad environment, right? So you're already in that mind frame. But her happiness is the sitcoms.
Yeah, so we can get an idea of why it was a sitcom. So everything that happened in episode 4, what Mr. Wu was writing down on the board, he's like, why sitcoms? Why Hexagon? How Vision is still alive? They're slowly answering those questions.
Remember, Agent Wu is the people's champ, right? Every time he thinks of something, it's literally a question. Thanos was when Monica brings up the point about Wanda beating Thanos, Agent Wu was right there. Captain Marvel was kind of close, right? Agent Wu was the one who was like, how did she bring him back without the Mind Stone? Agent Wu was the one writing on the board, like you said, and they even wrote who's behind this, and it said Skrulls. So keep that in mind. Follow Agent Wu as these questions get answered. But we see the bomb go off.
Yeah.
Boom. And there's another one sitting there. But it doesn't go off right now. This story's been told 1,000 times. We're not going to retell it.
Been told 2 times.
Anyway, so what you see is when the bomb does not go off, Agnes puts it on Wanda that she used probability hex to
make sure it doesn't go off.
Right. And Wanda was like, no, it just didn't happen. Now, this is where your Marvel Cinematic experience, right, you got to dig deep into the crates. Go back to Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, we get the Whiplash fight scene, but right before it, you have Rhodey, or you have War Machine and Tony Stark, and they're about to fight Whiplash. And it's basically saying that Tony Stark's gear does not mess up because War Machine blasts him with the bunker buster missile that comes and it just fizzles out. And Tony Stark's response, Hammer Tech.
Yeah, Hammer Tech.
Boom, right? So it was to imply that my gear is on point. It is to imply that my gear is on point. It doesn't make mistakes. So here's a bomb that doesn't detonate. And Agnes is saying, no, it's not that. It's that you used a probability hex and you kept it from detonating.
That's actually one of her powers in the comics.
So it's right there for you, right? And we see her start to do some stuff with her hands, but then she gets pulled out, right? Agnes moves her into the next stage. She fast forwards her. And where's the next place we go?
I think is it Avengers Compound?
It is the Avengers Compound.
Yeah.
And we see her there talking to Vision, right? And this is essentially after she just lost Pietro. And
right before Civil War, but right after Age of Ultron.
Right. Wait, what?
Right before Civil War, right
after
Age of Ultron.
So this is right after she just lost Pietro. This is when?
Right before Civil War, right after Age of Ultron.
So what happens is Vision, he has some, please go back and watch this episode. He has some of the great dialogue. The writers in WandaVision are phenomenal. He's explaining grief because he's taking everything in. And he's not human. So he's taking everything in. And he describes grief. Nah, that's what's up. It makes it easy to edit because we're at 26 minutes and we really have. I'm tempted to like trash this again. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to edit. But like how you did that makes it a lot easier. So he's explaining grief, and he says it's love persevering, right? And it really hits Wanda, not so much in that moment, because you see it does have an effect on her, but it hits the current state Wanda, because here's the kicker. Agnes is bringing her through this, so she's reliving all of her past that makes her who she is. So those lines, Vision phased through the wall. That's how he came in there, which is funny because
Civil War, she's like, stop phasing through the walls.
I told you about that, right? So and Cap was like, Cap Mary, what's up with this guy? He doesn't even knock, no privacy. So Agnes sees that. She doesn't believe it still. She's like, hey, it was something else. Where'd you get the big guns, Wanda? She says, where'd you get the big guns, Wanda? And then where do we see her next?
We see her.
So before this, I'm going to have to try to see if I can swamp it. So the next place they go is the Hydra base.
Yeah. Where she gets her powers from.
And this is crazy. Wanda is in there. The scientists tell her, touch it. Go touch it. The other scientist is like, he mutes the mic.
The other one died.
All of them, right? So Wanda doesn't touch. The stone comes to her. Question. Did Wanda summon that stone to her? Or did the stone choose her and come to her?
I think it chose her. I don't think she summoned it because she didn't really know about her powers yet. So I think she was the chosen one or something.
I can see that because remember,
cliche chosen one type stuff.
I remember in Endgame, and go back to the first Captain America movie, Tesseract sends Red Skull out of there.
Yeah.
We see him again in Endgame. He explains that it cast him out, right? It cast him out, so it had like a mind of its own, and that was the Space Stone. This is the Mind Stone. So just to note, the stones do operate with certain people specifically, right?
And I think that's why it didn't kill Pietro.
I have a theory about Pietro. I have a very similar theory that it's about to be dropped right here. So the stone, you see the case come off, the blue case. Wanda is seeing the stone for what it is, the amber yellow stone.
Yeah.
Explosion goes off. Keep in mind, the scientists see this. The scientists react. Go back and rewatch the episode. I'm not going to... That scientists react to it. And they show the scientists like that, right? So they see what just happened. They're seeing this live. Wanda, boom. She sees her future in there.
Yeah, she sees her comic book self.
She sees a silhouette of her comic book stuff. She doesn't actually see herself, but you see her in a Scarlet Witch outfit that she wore on Halloween, essentially.
Yeah.
Then she falls out. She passes out. The scientists, they try to play it back. Guess what?
Not there.
Where else we seen that happen at?
This show.
On the Wandavision show, where they go to play something and they're like, hey, it skipped. There is no evidence that the stone came to Wanda or anything, but they saw it happen. Go back and they saw it, but when they go to play it back, it literally jump cuts. Boom, boom. Wanda's on the ground. No in between. So now we go into the Avengers Tower.
And then next we get taken to present day, around present day, a couple days before present day.
And Agatha is poking Wanda too, like, what else? What else? You wanted him back though, because she just saw Vision, and she could feel like Agatha could see the love there, and she's like, you wanted him back though. You wanted him back, and then Wanda's like, you wanted him back, and then what'd she do?
She went over to sword base.
Straight in there. Now, when she gets to the sword base, right, they let her in. They literally let her in. He gets on the phone with somebody, the guy at the desk. Like, you want to, okay, cool. Hey, I can buzz you in. I got to buzz you in. Wanda says, I got it. She uses her magic and open the door. Now, it's funny because that scene was seen by Monica and company, right?
Yeah, earlier in the show.
But they didn't tell her, they didn't tell her that she was buzzed in or she was authorized to go in. They said, Wanda stole the body, the corpse of Vision. Right? And they played that footage like, boom, where Wanda's doing that, and it changed the narrative, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what happened at all. And it gets worse. She meets up with director Haywood. Right? Yeah. And from there, with that happening, he's like, you want to see it? She's like, I just want to bury him. I'm the next of kin. What's good? Please let me get that body back.
He tells her no.
Ooh,
that's $3 billion worth of vibranium. No, but he did let her see the body.
What a jerk!
But she went up to his forehead where Thanos took the stone out, and she did all that.
But first, she didn't even recognize what's going on until she saw his head, because she just saw the part split. She was like, "What is this?" And my man said, "Didn't you ask to see this?" Cold, right? Like he didn't try to have the body ready for her. He didn't do any of that. They were grinding Vision's head. It was grinding the metal off Vision's head. So, with that being said, she jumps down there, right? Mm-hmm. Breaks the glass. They come out then with guns. What happened then?
They didn't shoot.
Why? Because director Haywood told him not to. He said, stand down. Stand down. It's okay. Let her. And then that's when she did her whole thing on.
I can't feel you.
Yeah, I can't feel you. She went to the floor. Now, you remember she did that when they were on the run in Infinity War. And she said, all I feel is you. Vision said it back to her when he was killing her, when she was killing him. Right before it happened, he said, all I feel is you, right? So they're telling you this love story, and right now she has nothing from him. She is numb. She don't have no feeling from Vision. So she's crying. And what happened?
She goes back to her car. Nice little car.
Did she take the body?
No, she did not take the body.
So now I have a question. Mm-hmm. Didn't director Haywood say that 3 weeks ago or 9 days ago, Mrs. Maximoff stole Vision's body?
He did say that, but that's definitely not what happened.
So he lied.
He did.
He lied to Monica, Wu, Darcy, and all the sword agents, right?
Yeah.
Now, I told y'all this in a review. If he's the director, why did he say I got authorization to show y'all this? Wouldn't he be the one authorizing it? Like, there's something that's not right with director Haywood. And you have to watch him. He's still on the watch list. We don't need Agatha on there no more. Pietro, we don't really need him on. Pietro, is that what she called him? Pietro, yeah. Right? We don't really need. I'm gonna keep Pietro on there. I'm gonna explain why in a second.
Because Snooper's gonna snoop.
So after they see this, right? She goes there. Wanda drives off, sees a letter, goes to the spot where the letter, it's a deed to a house that Vision had bought
before he died.
For them to live the rest of it. It's got a circle heart.
So it's to grow old in.
V, for Vision. And Wanda is sitting in that plot of land, as it was only the foundation was there. And she loses it. She breaks down crying. Boom, hits the ground. And her powers go haywire. Boom. I mean, they just shooting. They are all that magic just going crazy. It reconstructs the house. Then once the house is reconstructed, it like literally explodes out, and anything in its path, it gets turned to the entire city of Westview. So when that happens, after that happens, she even creates the Vision. Literally, she didn't have the body. The body was with sword. No, right? No. When she's creating Vision, it starts off red for all her magic, but it's going into him as yellow, as if the Mind Stone.
And it's even there.
So she creates Vision. She's in color. He's not.
And live in color.
And then she goes into black and white, and that's when he greets her. That's when we get the claps. Right? Agatha has seen it now. Bravo. She leaves. Down, we hear Billy and Tommy. Mama, help me, mama. They don't sound like that, but Wanda snaps out of it. She goes running off. And Agatha is in the street, and she's got her apparel on. She's got her witch apparel. She got the witch's bow tie joint that she stole from her mother. That thing is crisp right up on the neck. And she got the 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
2 kids, Tommy and Billy, with those purple whips like around their neck. It's using her magic. And what does Agatha start saying?
And she was so mad because Wanda was just using her powers without really knowing what to do. She was making sitcoms.
She said you were. Hold on, I gotta almost play it out, right? You were supposed. She said you were thought to be a myth. She said you're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. That makes you what?
The Scarlet Witch.
That makes you the Scarlet Witch.
Which is actually the first time they call Wanda the Scarlet Witch in the entire MCU.
Ever, right? But I gotta break that down a little bit, just a little bit. Just give me a minute. She says you're supposed to be a myth. What year was Agatha origin?
First time we saw her was 1693.
Okay. Do you remember what it said Wanda was born?
When she was born?
1989, right? When they do the when they do the file on them, it says they were born her and Pietro in 1989, right? Why am I bringing that up? You're supposed to be a myth means we've been known about you. So either they're doing the Scarlet Witch like the Phoenix, and it's a person like I want you to keep that in mind, because when you looked at that Mind Stone scene, you saw that witch like walk to her, right? Same outfit she was wearing. I'm a Sokovian fortune teller, right? The classic comic book silhouette. Or it's something like how the Phoenix Force works, where the Scarlet Witch is bestowed. This amplified your power. The Mind Stone amplified what was already there, it said. So now, I'm not going to say Wanda's a mutant, but she's definitely a witch of immense power. Spontaneous creation. You are a Scarlet Witch. What's your notes? How you wrap it up?
Well, there's actually a post-credit scene again.
Oh, wait, time out. You mean to tell me Marvel marveled us again?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I saw it. I'm just tripping with you.
But in this post-credit scene, we actually see what Sword actually did to Vision's body. And now he's all white. And in the comics, his name is Spectral Vision?
Yes, that's a fact. Spectral Vision.
And so
West Coast Avengers.
And so this Vision, he has like no feelings at all, because in the original version of Vision in the movies, you know, he's made by Ultron, Jarvis, and Tony Stark. So he kind of has
Banner.
So he kind of has their personality. He has feelings and things. He was made by people sort of with feelings. This version of Vision, that it doesn't feel love, sadness, none of that.
Apparently, though, remember this is, and I don't really want to say, that because we don't know how the MCU is about to take it. They may have where Vision has all the memories, and no feelings, or they might just that thing might be Ultron.
It could be just in a different body.
It could be Ultron because the Mind Stone. Let's go back to what Bruce Banner said. Go back to Infinity War, and Bruce Banner is like, if we take out the Mind Stone, you still have Ultron, Jarvis, Tony, myself. Some of the best parts of Vision still left.
So with Spectral Vision, he doesn't really have feelings like how the normal Vision would because, he doesn't really have the things that make Vision Vision. Because, in the movies, Vision is a mix of Ultron, Jarvis, the Mind Stone, Tony, and Banner. So this version, Spectral Vision, he doesn't have any of that. He was just made to be a weapon. So that's all he's going to really think about.
You know what I'm interested to see? Because we see that there's something there instead of the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it do? And what new functions have they given Vision? Right? Because they've had him for 5 years. And they've been playing. When Director Hayward walks into that tent, he says, we put this thing apart, put it back together 1,000 times. So in that time, what have they been able to add to him that no one's going to be aware? Like when we watch his season finale, that we as a viewer are going to be like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So, and that, the unicorn joint that he got is going to be interesting. So we'll see, right? Because we remember when my man's right here, he took it out, but they replaced it with something. So very interesting to see. I do have a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Pietro.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewind it all the way back in this episode. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on him because this is why he's on my watch list. He is not a fake person. He was just under the eyes and ears for Agatha, right? Now peep this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
She replaced him with a person that had his abilities. But he wasn't enhanced through science, right? I mean, his name was Peter Maximoff in the Fox.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're about to see that multiverse in this last episode that she plucked him?
I think we are about to see it. Because in Doctor Strange, next chapter, the title for Doctor Strange is Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna have something to do with well, it is gonna do.
But let's go back, right? Let's go back, right? The last episode ended, right, with an end credit scene where Monica sees what's going on. Pietro, Snooper's gonna snoop, right? Now here's my spectral vision. The reason why you saw those vines being purple is because once again Marvel let us see the world through Monica's eyes.
Yeah.
So one of her abilities from the comics is she can analyze energy. So that's how she sees that it's purple and she knows something's up, right? Pietro comes. She'll be able to see that energy on him because she looks, she turns, she hit him, she looked. Eyes were still purple, right? Because he said Snooper's going to snoop. And she was right there with it, right?
Also, we probably should have done this last episode, but if you look at the window where Monica's going to the basement, there's like a shadow moving in the window.
We'll see if they play that in your mind, because here's what makes me confused. They were outside in the back of the house, on the side of the house, while that was going on. Where did they go? Because episode 8, they are not featured at all, and now Agatha is in the street with them kids on leashes, and we seen that at the mall. So them kids are bad. Pietro little boys, demon spawn, been running around here. She got them on leashes, right? So she has them on leashes. Where did they go? Right? Or did this time period that elapsed, was that like a 2-minute period, but it played out over the course of 40 minutes for us? Don't know. But I think next week we get to hear about the multiverse. Here's how I expect it. Vision is also on his way back.
Yeah.
He flew up out the top with Darcy, headed back to get to the house. He said, Wanda doesn't want me getting in the house. I now believe that's not Wanda. I believe Agatha was stopping Vision from getting back to the house because she doesn't want anyone. She wants to isolate Wanda, right? Just like she came out there with Monica. Ready? She was like, young lady, you have no business here, right? She was like trying to get her away from her. I think that's been Agatha, whatever, the whole time. And I think when Vision meets up with Pietro, he'll free his mind. That's where we'll really find out if this is a multiverse. If he quotes something from them Fox movies.
Or maybe even like sees like Magneto from the Fox movies or something. Just memorizes everything.
What do you mean sees him?
Like when he frees his mind, he'll like have a flashback or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly. He brings up a memory that is from the Fox universe. That will be 100% that yes, we've officially been multiversed. Even though we know it, but we can't really confirm, right? That will be our confirmation. If Pietro gets his mind freed. Because we know that Agatha all along, right? She was controlling him, and then she said it. So things to watch for. He's got to stay on the watch list, but I'm putting him on the watch list for the gateway into the multiverse. That's what Pietro is. And with that being said, I'm King HP, also known as Fador.
And I'm Kier.
And thank you for tuning in. Remember, click the like, leave a comment, and go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button now.